What's up guys, it's Wizdub here and welcome to another video. And in today's video I'm going to take you through the settings, the controller settings that got me the Champs League. More importantly, the Exponential controller settings that got me the Champs League. That's right, we're going to talk about Exponential and not linear. So yeah, I switched to Exponential actually a week ago. I was playing some really good Fortnite before I switched on linear. But ever since I switched to Exponential, I've been playing some of the best Fortnite of my life. This is the first time I ever got in the Champs League. It is also one of the first times I truly tried to grind for it. Now, granted, I had to play a lot smarter towards the end there to truly make it, because it's just, you know, when I'm like, being honest, I'm an average player, so it's really hard for me to compete sometimes with some really good players. I play on like 60 to 70 ping, so I just got to play really smart. And I'm going to make a video on how I truly got the champs. That'll be coming on later, so just make sure you stay tuned and be on the lookout for that one. But let's talk about my settings and how I got to champs. So on Exponential. So I know most controller players, I think 90% of them, 80%, that may be kind of high, but it seems like everyone's on linear. And I was very hesitant to switch to linear in the first place. Exponential had always felt really good to me. I gave into the pressure, I switched to linear. 2 weeks later, I hated it, switched back to Exponential. Gave into the pressure again, switched to linear. And I was starting to get really comfortable on linear to where I never thought I would switch back. Until I was like, you know what? I saw 1 or 2 players trying out Exponential. I think a lot of controller pros and big time streamers are about to switch back to Exponential. Given the meta, I think Exponential is going to be the move going forward. You know, aim assist is not as strong as it once was on controller, and so I think that plays in the part of Exponential. So I'm going to go ahead and get into my settings. 2 things we're going to get into real quick is just, I'd highly recommend auto open doors. That should be on. And then confirm edit on release. I think those 2 settings should always be on. Auto open doors, let's say you're trapped in a box, you're in a hurry, you're freaking out, this dude's owning you right now, you try to edit out the corner of your box, you mess up your edit, you only hit 2 squares instead of 3 or 4, you're still going to automatically open that door and you're still going to be able to get out of your box. That's why I recommend auto open doors. Confirm edit on release is just one less step you have to do. Sometimes you might want to hold and edit a little bit longer before you fully let go, but just confirm edit on release. It makes it easier on you. It's one less button you have to press if you're in a hurry, and that can save you time if you're on controller for sure. So let's get into what you guys really want to see. I'm going to talk about where I came from on linear, because I still remember a few of these options on linear and how I got there on Exponential. So essentially, my base Exponential layout, I copied the controller player Reet. He's one of the best mechanical controller players in the game. He makes everything look so smooth. So I copied that and then I adjusted everything based on how it felt. Essentially, that's exactly what you should do. Settings is going to be different for everybody. Like, don't worry about what the top pro settings are look like. You can use that as a starting point, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't feel good for you, it's not a fit for you. It doesn't matter who uses it. So just make sure you stay true to yourself and use what's going to allow you to ball out, essentially. Okay, use what works for you. We're all going to be different, so just keep that in mind as you take a look at all this. So getting into it, edit mode sensitivity 1.8, build mode sensitivity 1.8. Now that may seem like a little low. And initially, when I dropped it down that low, it did feel a little like I thought it was a little low. Initially, I dropped it to 1.6. On linear, I was around 2.2 to 2.6. I really settled in around 2.4 area. So I was way above this on linear, and I was doing good. I would mess up some builds here and there. I wasn't always the best builder, but like I was doing pretty good with it. And I dropped it down to 1.6, and it actually felt too slow initially. So that's what I'm saying. It felt too slow. So initially I went from 1.6 to 1.7. Didn't like it. 1.8. 1.8 felt really good. So I was been balling with 1.8, kind of just, yeah. So that's how I settled on 1.8 there. But I really like it. I know one of the best controller players, Colazo, I believe his is on 2, which isn't that high, but he balls out as well. So that's what I'm saying. It's going to be different for everyone, but actually I found this to be really good for me and a lot better than the 2.4 times the multiplier. Look sensitivity, horizontal and vertical. I have my horizontal at 50, my vertical at 60. Typically on controller, it's a lot harder to get a vertical look, so that's kind of why I like this a little bit higher. horizontal at 50 and 60. So when I came over from linear, I was at 42% on linear. And if you just switch to exponential and don't change anything else, it's gonna feel really off at first. So essentially when I first switched to exponential, these were both at 42 and it felt very slow. So what I did at there, I said, okay, 42 feels slow, like very slow. So I jumped it up to 45%. And I kind of just went from 45 to about 47, 48 to 50. And I kept jumping that vertical one up. So that's how I got to 50 and 60%. Like I said, you just want to keep jumping it up from where you're at. I believe this was actually where Reet was at too, because I checked his after I checked mine, and I was like, that makes sense. It works for me. So that's kind of what I did there. Again, just test it out. If you're switching from linear, your horizontal speed and vertical speed should be faster. That's, in my opinion, it should definitely be faster. Turning ramp boost, I've never actually had these on. I think I had these on when these settings first came out, like way back when, but since then I've all turned them off. Never felt the need for any of these on. ADS, 17%. So the weird thing about ADS is I feel like I'm hitting a lot more shots right now. And that's one thing why I've always felt exponential was better for me. I felt more comfortable hitting shots. So that definitely plays a part into why I think it's better for me. So maybe you'll start hitting more shots too. But anyway, I think exponential is the move. So 17%, that's actually just slightly above what they recommend, but it feels good for me. So no horizontal boost, and then exponential obviously right here. 100% aim assist strength. I don't know why you'd want to go lower. So dead zone is something I struggle with. So my controller has a lot of drift, and it's just the controller. It's the Xbox Elite 2, and you know Xbox Elite controllers sometimes have a drift problem. Doesn't make sense for a $200 controller, does it? It does not. But anyway, it's kind of annoying. So I would actually prefer my dead zone to be around like 8%, but here I put it at 10 just because it feels the best for me. Granted, it doesn't always. I kind of changed it. I changed my dead zone probably once every 2 or 3 days to try to navigate how much drift I get, but it doesn't seem to help, you know. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm working with dead zone. I recommend starting at 8. And then foot controller, I don't know if anyone actually uses a foot controller. But yeah, anyway, these were my settings that basically allows me to play some really good Fortnite. Nothing crazy. Like I said, I modeled it after the Reet, and then I adjusted things based on how I feel. So that's what I would recommend you're doing. If you're interested in trying out Exponential, find someone you like who runs Exponential. Find a pro you like, or model it off of what I'm saying right here, and then go into creative and just fine tune it. It's gonna feel weird for about 2 or 3 days. It took me about 2 days to kind of get back on my groove, but then I felt really good. I'll never forget when I like triple dinked this guy in the head with a scar, and I was like, oh, this is it. It was like my second day on Exponential, and I was hyped. But anyway, I felt good. I was hitting shots, and I was staying in fights a lot longer than I usually was, and that's how I knew like I just felt better with my game. Like usually, sometimes with a lot better player, I'll die pretty quickly, be on high ping, everything gets taken super fast. But you know what? I was able to hang on for a lot longer, trade some shots, and just stay in fights a lot longer. Anyway, just feel a lot better as a player overall on Exponential and these settings. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and smash the thumbs up. If you're new here and you want to see more, subscribe. Leave a comment on what your thoughts on Exponential or Linear and what your settings preferences are. I'll be curious to check it out. Dude, he has no idea. Clip this. Clip that. Oh my god, bro. Bro, they literally had no idea. Oh my god. Oh shit.